Captain Aaron Vance stepped off the starship onto the shining surface of Arendor. The planet's air was crisp, tinged with the scent of strange flowers that glowed softly under the twin suns. Floating towers stretched toward the sky, shimmering like glass, and streams of light moved along pathways, carrying people silently through the city. Aaron had traveled to many worlds in his career, but nothing had prepared him for the beauty and strangeness of this place. His mission was clear. He was assigned as the personal guardian of Princess Lyra, the heir to the Arendorian throne. It sounded simple on paper, but he already felt the weight of the responsibility pressing down on him. As he entered the palace, Aaron noticed the intricate patterns on the walls, glowing with subtle energy. Every step he took echoed softly across the crystal floors. Arendor was a place of elegance, but Aaron knew that elegance often hid danger. The Galactic Council had warned him. The princess's life was always at risk, not only from external threats but also from political rivals and factions that might seek to destabilize the planet. Aaron tightened his uniform and reminded himself of one rule: stay vigilant. Protect the princess no matter what. Aaron's first meeting with Princess Lyra did not go as expected. She was standing in a garden courtyard, her long silver hair catching the sunlight and her bright eyes watching him carefully. Instead of bowing or speaking formally, she smiled with a hint of mischief.
"So you are the human who is supposed to guard me," she said, her voice light and teasing.
"I hope you're not afraid of a princess." Aaron straightened. "Fear is not part of my duties," he said firmly, though he couldn't hide the surprise in his tone. He had encountered royalty before, but none had greeted him like this, almost challenging him from the first moment. Lyra laughed softly. "Good, I like that. Most humans seem nervous around me. They talk too much or they bend too easily." She walked closer, her gaze sharp. "Do you know about our customs, our laws? You cannot simply act as you would on your home planet." Aaron nodded. "I am here to learn and to protect. I will follow your customs as needed." Lyra tilted her head, studying him. "We will see about that," she said with a teasing smile. The days that followed were a mix of training, observation, and cautious learning. Aaron watched over the princess during lessons on Arendorian history, military strategy, and diplomacy. He noticed that Lyra was not only intelligent but extremely curious about humans. She asked questions about Earth, about human weapons, ships, and strategies. She was playful, sometimes teasing him about his accent or his slow adaptation to certain alien customs. Aaron, though serious and disciplined, found himself amused and slightly charmed by her energy and curiosity. One morning, the palace erupted into chaos. Alarms rang throughout the city as holographic screens flashed red. Aaron's communicator crackled. "Captain Vance, we have an intrusion alert in the royal sector. Immediate response required." Without hesitation, Aaron sprinted toward the courtyard where Lyra was having her morning walk. As he rounded a corner, he saw the intruders. A small group of mercenaries equipped with energy weapons moving swiftly through the gardens. Their target was obvious. Aaron's training took over. He positioned himself between the princess and the threat, assessing their numbers and weapons. He was outnumbered but not outmatched. Lyra watched silently, a mixture of fear and admiration in her eyes. She knew Aaron could handle himself, but seeing it in action was different. Aaron moved with precision, disarming one mercenary with a quick sweep of his arm and knocking another unconscious with a well-timed kick. He used the environment cleverly, causing the alien flora to release clouds of fragrant mist that obscured the intruder's vision. Within moments, the mercenaries were neutralized. Lyra approached, her eyes wide. "I did not think humans could be so clever," she admitted. "You are not just strong. You are smart, Captain Vance." Aaron nodded, catching his breath. "That is why I'm here. Your safety is my duty." Lyra smiled, a hint of genuine warmth in her expression. For the first time, she seemed to see him as more than a human officer assigned to watch over her. Yet neither spoke of the bond that was forming between them, an unspoken understanding growing stronger with every shared moment. It was during a formal ceremony, days later, that Aaron's life changed in an unexpected way. The palace was filled with diplomats and representatives from neighboring planets. Princess Lyra was dressed in her ceremonial attire, silver and blue robes shimmering under the light. Aaron stood near her side, vigilant as always. The ceremony proceeded smoothly until Queen Seraphina, Lyra's mother, rose to speak. Her voice was commanding yet calm, carrying across the hall. She spoke of the princess's future, the importance of alliances, and the protection of the throne. Then her gaze shifted to Aaron. "Captain Aaron Vance," she said, her tone sharp yet not unkind. "You have proven your loyalty and bravery in protecting my daughter. In recognition of your service and according to Arendorian law, you are no longer merely her guardian. You are now bound to her as her husband." A hush fell over the hall. Aaron froze, unable to comprehend the weight of her words. His mind raced. Husband? He had come here to protect the princess, not to become part of her royal life in this way. The law of Arendor was ancient, binding, and clear. There was no room for negotiation once the queen spoke these words aloud. Princess Lyra blinked, her expression unreadable at first. Then she laughed softly, a sound that mixed amusement with disbelief. "Well," she said, looking at Aaron, "it seems your duty has changed. You will have to adjust quickly, Captain." Aaron opened his mouth, but no words came. He felt the weight of the palace walls, the eyes of diplomats, and the significance of the law pressing down on him. His training had prepared him for many dangers, but this was something entirely new. Over the next hours, Aaron was escorted to a private chamber to discuss the implications of the Queen's declaration. He learned that the bond was both legal and spiritual in Arendorian culture. Once declared, a guardian who proved themselves loyal and brave could be bound to the princess, creating a partnership that was respected by all. It was a union of trust, protection, and alliance. Aaron spent the evening pacing the chamber. He thought of his life on Earth, his career, and the freedoms he had once taken for granted. Yet he also thought of the moments he had spent with Lyra, her laughter, her curiosity, and the quiet moments of trust that had formed between them. Perhaps this bond was not only an obligation, but also an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become part of something larger than himself. When he finally entered the garden where Lyra awaited, she was calm, her silver hair glowing in the soft light of the setting sun. "Have you accepted your new role?" she asked gently. Aaron took a deep breath. "I do not fully understand it yet," he admitted. "But I will do my best to honor the Queen's decree and to protect you, not only as a guardian, but as someone who stands by your side." Lyra smiled, a mixture of pride and relief in her eyes. "That is all I ask, Captain Vance. Perhaps we will both learn much from this." As the twin suns of Arendor dipped below the horizon, Aaron and Lyra stood side by side. The palace stretched around them, a place of wonder, tradition, and now unexpected destiny. Aaron felt a strange mixture of apprehension and excitement. He had arrived as a guardian, prepared for battle and duty, but he would remain as something more. The Queen's declaration had changed his path, but it had also begun a story filled with challenges, trust, and perhaps something deeper between a human and an alien princess. The night was quiet, but Aaron knew that tomorrow the real journey would begin. Protecting the princess would not only test his strength and intelligence, but also his heart. Arendor was full of beauty and danger, and in the days to come he would face trials that no human had encountered before. But for now he remained vigilant, ready to learn, ready to fight, and ready to embrace the destiny the Queen had chosen for him. The first day of his assignment had ended, but the story of the guardian and the princess had only just begun. The morning sun bathed Arendor's palace in soft golden light, and Captain Aaron Vance stood by the balcony, gazing at the city below. Floating walkways connected the crystal towers, and the soft hum of energy currents filled the air. Despite the beauty, Aaron's mind was heavy. He could not stop thinking about the Queen's declaration. He was no longer just a guardian. He was now bound to Princess Lyra as her husband. According to Arendorian law, he had trained for battles, for interstellar travel, and for dangerous missions across the galaxy, but nothing had prepared him for the complexities of royal duties, alien laws, or matters of the heart. Still, he reminded himself that duty came first. Lyra's safety and well-being were his responsibility, no matter how strange or unexpected the circumstances. Princess Lyra appeared quietly beside him. Her silver hair glowed in the sunlight, and her bright eyes studied him closely. "You seem lost in thought," she said lightly, though Aaron could hear the curiosity behind her voice. "I am considering the responsibilities ahead," he replied honestly. "I did not expect this bond to happen so quickly. I'm unsure how to act." Lyra laughed softly. "You are a human. You think in straight lines. On Arendor, life rarely moves in straight lines. She paused and placed a hand gently on his arm. Do not worry so much. We will face this together. Aaron looked at her, seeing not only the princess of a powerful planet, but also a young woman capable of sharp wit, bravery, and compassion. I will do my best, he said firmly. That much I promise. The days that followed were filled with lessons, patrols, and careful observation. Aaron learned about the palace's secret defenses, its communication systems, and even the layout of hidden passages. He noticed that Lyra was not only intelligent but also brave. She insisted on accompanying him on certain exercises, learning how to defend herself and understanding human strategies. Aaron realized that she was preparing for a future in which she could lead her people effectively, not merely rely on guardians or soldiers. Despite their growing partnership, Aaron struggled with the Queen's decree. He respected Lyra and cared for her safety, but the idea of marriage was foreign to him. He spent long hours thinking, walking the palace gardens at night trying to understand the balance between duty and personal choice. Meanwhile, Lyra seemed to enjoy testing him. She asked questions about human customs, often teasing him with riddles and playful challenges, but always watched his reactions carefully. One evening, as Aaron monitored the city's perimeter from the palace balcony, a sudden alert flashed across his communicator. Intrusion detected, the system announced. Sector 9, unknown vessel approaching the city's energy shield. Aaron's heart quickened. He had trained for combat situations, but the stakes were higher now. Lyra joined him immediately, standing beside him with calm determination. Are you ready? She asked. Aaron nodded. We have no choice. We must act quickly. Together they raced to the command center where the palace's security team was already mobilizing. Aaron analyzed the data. A small fleet of mercenary ships armed with energy weapons and cloaking technology was attempting to breach Arendor's defenses. He quickly devised a strategy, combining human tactical experience with Arendorian technology. The fleet advanced, and the palace's shields shimmered under the pressure. Aaron directed energy pulses, creating barriers that deflected enemy fire, while Lyra used her knowledge of alien systems to disrupt the attackers' cloaking devices. The two worked in perfect coordination, a seamless blend of human intuition and alien intelligence. As the battle intensified, Aaron realized that the attackers were not merely after the princess. They sought to destabilize Arendor itself. He acted decisively, guiding defensive drones to intercept the fleet while coordinating palace forces to protect critical areas. Lyra's quick thinking and courage proved invaluable, as she identified weak points in the attackers' strategy that even seasoned officers had missed. After a tense confrontation, the mercenary fleet was forced to retreat, leaving the city unharmed. The palace guards cheered, but Aaron's focus remained on Lyra. She had remained calm under pressure, her eyes sharp and observant. In that moment, he understood something important. This bond, forced as it was by law, could become a partnership built on trust, respect, and shared courage. Later, in the quiet of the palace gardens, Lyra turned to him. You did well, she said softly, a hint of admiration in her voice. I knew you would. I just did not know how fast we could work together. Aaron smiled faintly. We make a good team. Your knowledge and bravery are impressive. You are not just a princess. You are a leader in your own right. Lyra looked at him thoughtfully. Perhaps this bond the Queen spoke of is not as strange as it seems. Maybe it was meant to help us both grow stronger. Aaron considered her words. He had arrived on Arendor as a protector, a human outsider. But he now felt a connection to the princess that went beyond duty. It was a partnership, one that could face both political challenges and real danger together. The following weeks were filled with careful planning and training. Aaron guided Lyra in defensive tactics, while she introduced him to the subtle customs of her world. They shared quiet conversations about dreams, fears, and strategies for the future. Aaron began to appreciate the depth of Lyra's intelligence and her playful spirit. She challenged him to think in ways he had never considered, and he admired her ability to remain composed even under immense pressure. One afternoon, news arrived that a rival faction from a neighboring star system had sent envoys to Arendor, hoping to negotiate a secret alliance. The Queen instructed Aaron to accompany Lyra during the meetings. This was not merely a test of diplomacy, it was a demonstration of the bond the law had created. Aaron's role as husband and protector would be on full display. In the council chamber, Aaron observed the envoys carefully, noting their posture, expressions, and subtle gestures. Lyra spoke with confidence, her voice firm yet polite, explaining the strength of Arendor and the importance of peace. Aaron added his insights when necessary, offering practical strategies and observations that impressed even the alien diplomats. Together they projected unity, strength, and intelligence, showing that the princess was not alone and that her protector could act as a trusted partner in every sense. The envoys left, convinced that Arendor's leadership was strong and well prepared. Lyra turned to Aaron as they walked back through the palace corridors. "You are more than I imagined," she said quietly. "I thought I knew what it meant to have a guardian, but this is different. You have become someone I can rely on in ways I did not expect." Aaron felt a warmth in his chest. "And you have shown me that leadership is more than rules and tradition. It is about courage, wisdom, and the willingness to trust others." Despite their growing connection, a sense of caution remained. Aaron knew that the Queen's decree was binding, but trust and partnership had to be earned. Both he and Lyra were learning how to navigate this unusual bond, balancing duty, personal growth, and the beginnings of something deeper. The story reached its quiet conclusion for now as the twin sons of Arendor sat behind the crystal towers, casting long shadows across the palace gardens. Aaron and Lyra stood together side by side, watching the glowing city below. The palace was secure, the princess was safe, and for the first time Aaron felt a sense of belonging he had never known among the stars. He had arrived as a human guardian, trained for combat and survival, but he would remain as something more. The Queen's words had set the path, but the journey ahead promised growth, challenges, and shared victories. Together, Aaron and Lyra would face threats from within the galaxy, learn the depths of each other's strengths, and discover that duty could transform into trust, respect, and perhaps even friendship, and eventually, a partnership stronger than either had imagined. The night air was cool, and the lights of Arendor shimmered like stars fallen to the planet's surface. Aaron took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility but also the promise of adventure. He had entered a world of alien customs, unexpected decrees, and political intrigue. But he now stood ready, not just as a guardian but as a partner, a protector, and a human whose courage had earned the trust of an alien princess and her people. The story of Captain Aaron Vance and Princess Lyra was only beginning. The galaxy held dangers and wonders alike, but with their bond forged through duty and courage, there was little they could not face together. The path would be challenging, but for the first time in his life, Aaron felt certain of one thing: he was where he was meant to be.